What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chicken Bone Alley, brought to you by SRI Performance, Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, Profab Headers and Exhaust, and Earl Ramey Racing Engines. What's going on, guys? I'm David.
I'm Connor.
And we got the new guy over here with us, Mr. Skyler Whitfield. What's going on, man?
Man, I'm happy to be here, David. Appreciate you bringing me out to Chicken Bone Alley. I follow your podcast, and you guys talk all about it at Dylan and Florence every week. You got something new to bring to the table, so just happy to join y'all here today.
Well, man, we appreciate you coming over and hanging out with us, man. I've told you for how long that we need to get you on here, and finally able to make it happen, man. Talk some racing, get somebody that actually watches it. You know, that's what I like about it. Skyler has been in the announcer's booth over there. You've been singing all over, been in the announcer's booth, all that stuff. So you have a complete different perspective of racing at Florence and Dillon than me and Connor have, because we are always down in the pits. I never hardly Connor actually sat in stands at the Iceberg there, but I'm never up there. I'm in the pits, and you know how it is though. But so having you on here to talk about all this week's racing, man, it's it'd be cool, and have a different perspective on it, I guess.
Yeah, and you say it's the Race Fans podcast. I feel like if you're in the announcer booth, you're one of the ultimate race fans. You're following everything that's going along, and you're trying to give a little bit of info about everybody, and I love it, man. I love it so much. So appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you coming, man. Well, everybody out there, if you are watching, just to let you know, we got some new equipment this week, so I'm hoping everything's working right. I got new camera, new microphones, new everything. Trying to get it all straight. So hopefully it works right, because we had some camera issues the last couple of weeks for some reason. It was kind of laggy, so trying to fix it. Got to fix it, you know. So anyway, man, first of all, before we go any farther, anybody who listens to the show, everybody around here knows who you are for sure, but anybody listening to the show not from around here, let everybody know who you are, what you do, all that fun stuff.
So I'm a full-time musician. That's how I make my money. I'm very fortunate to make that my full-time job. I play primarily in the Grand Strand of Myrtle Beach area, from Georgetown about to Wilmington area. That's really where I play. Outlaw country, Americana rock and roll. I play slide guitar and sing. Yeah, I see your tattoo. Yeah, that thing's awesome, man. Need to get something as cool as that.
There you go.
But and then I play a little bit with a band called Route 65 Band. They're out of North Myrtle Beach. A ton of fun. That's more like your kind of go ahead, straightforward country music, and man, I love doing that. I'm a national anthem singer. Just came back from New Smyrna Speedway, Volusia Speedway, go down to Florida there and do that at a bunch of different tracks. And then I guess it's my hobby, but I really love it. I love announcing the races here at Florence and up the road at Ron Barfield's track at Dillon. And I've really enjoyed kind of immersing myself in that world for the last 3 years or so.
That's what I was going to say. What got you up there? Obviously they got you at the track, singing the national anthem some. What made you want to go from there up to the announcer's booth?
Well, I started in the racing world doing some interviews with Race 22. Yeah. It was kind of not as widely viewed the last couple years, but I've been very busy. But when I have time, I like to go over there, interview the drivers, and just see what they have to say about the races. So I did that for a couple years. I'm still doing that from time to time, mostly volunteer basis, But I got to Florence one time at Steve's track, and it was literally last year to this day. He's like, "Hey, you want to announce?" And he's like, "You've done Race 22 stuff. You can do this." I was like, "I don't know, man. All I've done is run your old scoreboard, pressing the buttons in, and that thing was." I'm glad he updated it. That was antique. It was an antique. It looked like a 1989 Retro Bowl video game or something.
It was probably older than that.
Yeah. So Bob Dillner's there, and in the first race I ever announced just on my own was that crazy Thunder and Lightning race. Opening week.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, Joey Webster and his crew wanted to fight everybody in the pits that day.
I think they did.
They caught Bucky on the chin, the official down there.
I still pick on Bucky about that.
But so that was my first race announcing. Cameron Minahan dive bombing everybody. It was a crazy race, and once that happened, I was like, I'm hooked. I'm doing this as much as I can.
You didn't know you were going to be a racing announcer and a wrestling announcer at the same day.
Hey, that's what keeps it safe, man. You got to hit somebody if they're going to wreck you.
That's right. That's right. There's always consequences.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, tell us a little about your music career. How long you been playing and singing and all that fun stuff?
A long time. I started singing in church. I was probably the youngest choir member by about 30 years.
Nice. I was the same way.
Yeah.
Still am some days.
Yeah. And my mom was into drama and children's theater, which I'm very grateful to be on stage at an early age and just have that experience and learn music. And then my dad's a Harley mechanic who loves racing and loves NASCAR. That's how I got into the racing side of things. But playing how I'm doing now, playing a lot of solo, duo, leading the band, about 5 years.
Nice.
Full time, I guess.
Nice. It was really cool because, me and Skylar's talked a good bit, but found out we've been in some common places a good bit with bands and all that fun stuff. So that's cool, man. That's to me, the music world and the racing world are very similar in the fact of it's like you can go somewhere different all the time. You run into a lot of the same people sometimes, but everybody is there because they love it, regardless if it's a race or if it's a show that you're singing, playing, all that fun stuff. So everybody's there because they love it most of the time, and it's I don't know, it's cool. It's always been cool to me. I've traveled. I traveled with a southern gospel band when I was very, very little. They were my neighbors, and even I don't care what kind of music you're playing, everybody is at that show because they love what's about to happen, at least. So it's cool, man. It's cool. It's fun stuff always.
And there's a lot of crossover between race fans, music fans. If you just go out there in the infield somewhere at a racetrack, you're going to have some country or some rock and roll.
That's right.
Or people getting down and having a good time, maybe some cold drinks. Like that's the vibe I love. That's what I'm all about.
That's right. It's really funny you say that because good friend of mine, Mr. Mike Hulon, he just sold his trailer, old go-kart trailer that he had. We had it over here, getting everything out of it actually, and it was so funny because this was back in the day. This was in the late 90s. There was probably stuff around. There just wasn't Google to find it. We had taken in his trailer and put a stereo in it and put mounts on the back of it for speakers. And we didn't have any way to really, be able to just take the speakers off something quick. So we just took a wall plug, a wall socket, and wired the speakers in that way so you could just plug them into this wall socket until you plugged it into the wrong wall socket, and then it fried everything.
Oh, no.
But it was like that. It was... Like you said, it was like the party trailer out there. It was a lot of fun, and I've always been like that myself. I don't know how to function without music and racing together. So,
Same.
So Connor, what you singing?
Oh, I ain't singing nothing. I'm happy to listen though. I'm happy to listen.
You playing the radio over there?
Yeah.
Playing in the shower. That's always the best time to be alone and sing.
Oh, fun. Cool, man. We can't pull up so much of it, but I want to kind of give y'all a little excerpt of some of Skylar's music here. Oh yeah, I had it pulled up and it left. Go figure. There we go. But you got some new music that you're putting out videos for coming up.
Yeah. I released an album last May, and I just got a video done with this first song I sent you here. It's called Mr. Jack Daniels, and we'll be releasing it within the week. It's just about finished. And a couple other songs. I know we got Modifieds coming to Florence. There's a song I wrote called Bowman Gray. That's my home track. I grew up in the Greensboro area. And there's another couple of tunes there that are racing related. So yeah, this one's called Mr. Jack Daniels.
Sweet.
Mr. Jack Daniels, take my fears away, tears away. Playing with some slide guitar, man.
I love it. I love it. Unfortunately, can't play it too long. They like to do all that copyright junk on here.
Well, I'd be the only one suing you.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it's you right here. So, Man, that's it's good stuff. I've actually been I've actually listened to this multiple times, a lot. And then today I was like, man, I'm gonna listen to some of Skylar's music some more. Man, it's such good stuff.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
To that quarter-mile
Skylar song, Bowman Gray.
'cause there's a big block street stock Chevy sitting here in this driveway. And my Uncle Bobby came one day and welded in a cage.
Oh, good old copyright stuff. I just want to play all of it. That's the problem is I would sit here and play the whole album. Would you sit here? Just thumbs up, everybody. Man, that's such good stuff. If anybody wants to, we're definitely going to link it in the in the description on this podcast. But if you want to go listen to Skylar's stuff, it's under Skylar Whitfield on Spotify, Apple Music, all that, everything.
Yeah.
Album is called
Mason.
Mm-hmm. So
It's actually my middle name, and it's
okay.
the type of jar you put a certain beverage in.
Nice, man. Yeah. Nice. I like it. So you said you grew up around that area?
Yeah, Greensboro is where I spent most of my childhood. When I was a younger kid, I lived in York, Pennsylvania. My dad worked for Harley and worked for York Technical Institute, taught people how to put motorcycles together. I didn't get the mechanic gene as nearly as good as he did, but I found music as the thing that I really had a passion for. And I spent most of my childhood in Greensboro, North Carolina, and so close to so many cool tracks. Ace, Caraway, Bowman Gray, Martinsville up north. Like, you couldn't beat it there. But I do love living by the beach now here in Myrtle Beach. Been here about 10 years now.
All right, so that's what I was wondering. I was about to ask you how long you'd been down here. So what drew you to Myrtle Beach?
I went to Coastal Carolina.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. Didn't get to do all 4 years, but learned what I wanted to learn and still doing it as a career.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a good place to do it at down there. I mean, obviously, there's so many places down at Myrtle Beach that and that's what I miss here in Florence. It's being us only a little over an hour away. We used to have a good music scene here in Florence, and there's not too much of it anymore. So I mean, that's great. That's why I always checking you out on Facebook and everything and seeing where you got coming up. You always playing somewhere down there and somewhere different all the time. Yeah. Which is really cool because that's what we're missing up here, man. It's tough up here. So I'm glad to see you down there doing good at it, man.
Hey, we're missing our racetrack. That's why we come here,
Trust me, I'm missing it too. I know Connor is.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose, ain't it?
I don't think so. Honestly, shout out to Steve Zacharias and his whole family. I mean, from what Florence was just 4 years ago to now, to see all the changes and the big names. I mean, who would have thought 3 years ago Earnhardt Jr. is going to be a regular 3-4 times a year running at Florence Motor Speedway?
That's right. He Steve and him, his family, the Zacharias family, they have all, Brian Voss, we had him on here a few weeks ago. Man, they've done a great job over there. Really bringing back, and we've said it so many times, really bringing back, the late model stock racing to this area and bringing that NASCAR name back here that everybody loved to, It's something about it. I don't know what you can go to any track on any Saturday night, but there's something about it when you see that it just got that NASCAR or what used to be NASCAR Weekly Series and everything. Just got the NASCAR insignia on it. Everybody loves it. I don't know. It's really cool to see. So, all right, man. Well, let's get into some racing a little bit, and we'll get into some more stuff here in a little while. We had a lot of it this past weekend. It seemed like, and it all landed on time this past week. You were down at Daytona, wasn't you?
Yeah, I work for the track every speed.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. What do you do?
I'm an usher there.
Nice.
So usually just from Thursday to Sunday, or I guess Monday.
Yeah.
In that case. I just tell people where to sit, and you can watch some of the racing too. I just gotta make sure no one's smoking in the grandstand.
There you go. And
just make sure people are having a good time. Really.
I see you found our buddy Andy Newsom down there.
Oh yeah, Friday night I was in the infield. Woke up the next day next to the fire pit. We had a blast.
That seems to follow him somehow.
Yeah, I wonder how. Yeah, shout out Andy. Dog will hunt and dog hunted. We had a good time.
Boo Carlisle, what's up, buddy? Good seeing you on here, man. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us. Can't wait to. I need to get you back on here soon, man. Let's talk about the series this year, the street stocks, man, the super stocks. It's so. Ready to have you back on here and let's get that rolling. But anyway, all right. So Daytona was fun. It doesn't matter, a few days later, whatever, still fun.
Oh yeah,
Still fun. Always fun. All right. This is what I have a question about. And I'm going to jump straight to the Cup stuff because we talked about it, because we all know Daytona truck race was just a cluster, to say the least. Xfinity race, so, whatever. It was pretty good. Then the Cup race came around, and just from what I saw on social media, on any news outlet and everything, nobody liked really the. It's not they didn't like it, because we talked good about it on here. You're good. Yeah. We talked good about the racing, because actually, if nobody would have told us that there was a fuel mileage or a fuel savings game at Daytona, they didn't show us the speeds or nothing like that. We just said, hey, that's a good race. And that's basically what I went off of. Looking at it was a good race. Going back and kind of reanalyzing everything, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, it does. It takes something away from it. I was like, man, y'all going that slow at 175 mile an hour. And you still wreck every car out there almost. Okay, so what I'm getting at is there were so many people that said that Daytona was whatever. They weren't happy with it, to say the least. We turn around and go to Atlanta. We're just going straight into Cup because we'll talk about the truck and Xfinity race. But they turn around, same style of racing, not as much fuel saving. Maybe there was some that I heard, but I think TV purposely didn't talk about it as much, I think. And they kept on wrecking. There was literally, at the end of the race, 5 cars that were not involved in a wreck. That's what they said at the end. But everybody loved it. Everybody saying race of the year. I personally think it was just because of the finish that they're saying race of the year. Personally. Now, it's just me. I didn't see it as that great of a race. I'm like, man, if y'all would have just gave them some practice, personally, I'm like, maybe they could have worked some of these little issues out, and it would have been a great race. Great side-by-side racing. Not getting up beside somebody or behind them and just all of a sudden having such a bad aero push that you can't turn and you wreck whoever. I don't know. Just my opinion. What you think?
I mean, from a fan's perspective, I loved it. I've never been in a car going 180 miles an hour and then all of a sudden, the front wheels don't steer and you're going to go into the wall because you change lanes. That's scary. I can't imagine how scary that is. But, these guys get paid the big bucks to put on a show. And what we got at Atlanta was a show. I mean, 3 wide to the finish. I don't think it was just the finish either. The one thing that was different at Atlanta than, say, Daytona, Talladega, when they started wrecking, they're going a little slower. And it didn't take out 20 cars. Right. Guys got banged up.
Yes.
But it didn't, 20 cars are out of the race now because of this wreck. And I like the hybrid. I'm glad we only do it twice a year. Yeah. But the hybrid, a mile and a half, restrictor plate, drafting track, whatever they call it now, I thought it was awesome. There can be things to make it better and practice. Why aren't we practicing at least one session every damn weekend?
That's what I don't understand. It's like, man, give them 30 minutes. I mean, just something. Yeah. In my opinion, what you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was decent. I'm not a big fan of the drafting tracks, but I do understand that there's a lot more people in the stands than there would have been, 3 years ago when it wasn't, right? So I don't know. I just think it's gonna be really interesting to see when the track continues to wear out. I mean, you saw how bad it was for the Xfinity and trucks, but for now, I wish it was an all-star race. I think it'd be a great all-star race track, but I thought it was a decent race, and the finish definitely helped it out.
What was bad, and this is my thought on it, was, Yes, handling was obviously coming into play there. Well, NASCAR's already said, because I was listening to Denny Hamlin's podcast today, NASCAR's already said, "Oh, we're having a tire test. We're going to bring a different tire there that has more grip." I'm like, no, we don't need more grip. We want these cars to, drive it as deep as you can, then lift. Mm-hmm. If driver messes up, that's on the driver. I can't understand why they're wanting to just make it a flat out foot to the floor track. I mean, I'm fine with it the way it is. I'm like you. I'm glad there's only twice a year. But let's don't keep trying to make it more and more like a Daytona or Talladega. Let it be its own track. Is my thought anyway. I don't know.
I mean, that's going to be the hottest ticket come fall time. The next race, it's going to probably sell out. I mean, when's the last time Atlanta's sold out?
That's and I was telling Connor the other day that me and my son Landon, I don't know, it's probably been 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago. They had the same type schedule, except they had the Xfinity race first and then the truck race afterwards. We went on that Saturday. We got to see Cup practice, Xfinity practice, no, truck practice. We got there a little too late for Xfinity. Truck practice, Cup qualifying, Xfinity race, and truck race, and all the qualifying and everything. Cost us like $35. So I was like, man, that's like the best ticket out there. I was like, and that was before the track change. But it was, man, I loved that track when it was wore out. It was fun to watch. It did get strung out. But it was such a driver's track. And that's what I want it to come back kind of to be. Just in my personal opinion. I don't know. Now, I will say, after that last restart, I was on the best racing I've seen in a long time. Guys were pushing, shoving, but they wasn't taking each other out. I was very surprised they made it to the checker flag. Me too. I saw them come to the white flag, and I was like, "Yep, they're going to wreck before they get back. They're never making it." But I was surprised they did. I think if Bubba might have stuck with Kyle, he might have been able to push it out a little bit farther. But Bubba kind of went back and forth, kind of lost the draft. I didn't lose it, but you know what I mean. Just kind of fell back off of him just a little bit, which made for an awesome finish. Yeah, it did. It made for an
pretty
awesome
wide.
Finish.
What a race!
Third closest finish in NASCAR history.
I believe it's only third.
I know.
I mean, that felt like the closest I've seen in a long time.
0.003 of a second.
Usually, I can tell on TV even when it is really close by. You couldn't really tell on that one.
But what was really cool is that was first and second was 0.003 of a second. From first to third, which was Kyle, was only 0.007 of a second. So top three within 0.007. Top, I think they said 6. It was like 7/100ths of a second.
It's crazy. And Clint got the call wrong immediately.
Yeah.
He called it Blaney. I thought it was Blaney too.
I did too.
On the inside. That's usually the preferred line, but he got that side draft, and there you go.
I think I heard somebody talking about it today. I think there's something to it. You just get so much momentum around the outside of anywhere, especially when you can flat foot it. Plus, you think about it now, especially those corners, you kind of, when you come off that corner, you're coming downhill. So you get a better run from the outside if you can hold it wide open. So, but it was still so close. I mean, it was just, I figured I was just waiting on Kyle just to put it in somebody's door. I mean, I don't think he knew whose to put it in, I think was the problem. So, but it was a good finish. Awesome finish. I loved it. I want to see more racing like that. But I personally want to see it a little more controlled. I want to see them be able to run up on each other's door in the corner and not wreck. You know what I'm saying? Which, as a fan, you want all this, but it's like, okay, but that's hard to do. Yeah. With as fast as they're going, it's hard to control that much air. I don't know. My only thing is, and I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here, but somebody's got to be that guy on the podcast. Is you talk about it's going to be the hot ticket. I believe it is, but I think you're setting people up for disappointment because there's no way you can remake a finish, or you might can remake a race somewhat like that, depending on how the weather is and you know all that. But there's no way you're going to get that finish again in a year. I mean, you might. It's possible. There is a possibility out there, but it's just tough to try to say, oh, that's going to happen again. I don't know if it is. I don't know. I think it. I think it'll be a hot ticket too, though.
The fact that Atlanta's going to be a playoff race,
yeah,
the first one, I think that sells itself right there.
Yeah, we were over at Darlington last year because that was a play. That was that first playoff race?
Yep.
Yeah, that was first playoff race. We were, and which really made it cool. I love Darlington being in the playoffs. That really made it cool, and the way it kind of falls right there, kind of. I think it's going to move around every year. Might one year be in the playoffs and not, and I don't know. There's something about playoffs, obviously. I mean, because guys know what they got to do. That makes it a really hyped up race because right now this is only the second race of the year, so guys are still chilling out. And but if that's what they call that, then woo, good for them.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. So overall though, you like the race?
I did. I mean, excitement level, close racing, slingshotting. That's an old school way to pass. Yeah. That's how the guys did it in the 70s with, the big old cars would punch the holes in the air. But yeah, we don't have to do that every week. We don't have to do that at Charlotte or Texas or anywhere else. Atlanta's kind of a one of a kind thing, and I like that.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
Overall,
I thought, I think it's the only worries I see Texas and all these other tracks probably looking, hey, why can't we do that? 'Cause it definitely brings in a bigger crowd, but I think it is good for what it is. I can't deny it is exciting.
I got a feeling Texas is about to change up.
That's the only thing is the next gen car is pretty good on mile and a halves.
Yeah, which really stinks because the old car was great on short tracks.
Yeah,
it was great. Now the next gen car kind of stinks on short tracks. It's like, man, short track racing can be so good.
It's got to up the power for the short tracks.
I think so too.
That's all you got to do.
I think so too.
That don't bother me as much. Though. I feel like you can watch short tracks. You can get late models and everything else to feel the short track. I want the NASCAR short tracks to be good, but I feel like it is more important to have the mile and a halves better because you can't find short tracks somewhere else.
I agree with you. I just, I love to see
you want to go to Bristol and
Richmond and Martinsville.
Yeah.
I think Martinsville is the worst out of it. It got the worst end of the stick, I think, with the shifting. I think the shifting makes all the difference in the world there. And I'm like you got to up the horsepower. That way you're in a RPM range that you don't shift from it and can still spin the tires. These guys aren't spinning tires at all anymore. So, which I mean, we've talked about that 1,000 times, and we'll continue to talk about that. And I think they got too much grip. I'm always that's why we talked about it the other week with the Thunder and Lightning class. I love the class. I hate the fact now that they're back on the big tires. I loved it when they were on 8-inch tires. You take away grip, it puts it back in the driver's hands. I mean, you can have less horsepower as long as you got way less grip. So
I agree with that.
So it kind of all comes around. I think they're gonna figure it out. Did you expect Chevrolet to have 2 wins first of the season?
No, especially with how fast the Fords have looked in each practice session, for super speedways. But we'll find out this week who's got what. I feel like
it's the first real race
of
the season next week.
Yeah, I actually kind of thought Chevrolet was going to be kind of lagging behind. They're the only ones that didn't get a new model. But I think that actually, I was thinking about that today, and I was like, well, maybe that actually helped them. They kind of knew what they had. They knew what they needed to work on. They knew how to make this car, with what they got, they know what adjustments they got to make. I think probably with the Toyotas and the Fords with new noses, they're still kind of in a learning phase right now, probably to some extent, which I mean, the Fords look so fast by themselves. So, I mean, I guess a glove holding upside the window makes them.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's genius.
Dude, it was.
I just hard to believe doing that at that. Joey Logano doing that at the Cup Series. It just seems kind of.
It's so bad. I don't know how much you follow dirt track racing.
Here and there.
Here and there.
I mean, I like the asphalt more.
Yeah. I got the tire up there on the wall is actually signed by Scott Bloomquist.
Heck yeah, dude.
Well, but it made me think of Scott Bloomquist so much at Eldora years ago because they made him. It was there was something come up about window nets. They had to run window nets. They decided to make super late models run window nets, and he put a window net on it and then put a big old piece of plexiglass on it. So it would, and that's what it was. He was getting side force from it going in the corner. Wind would come through, hold the car straight.
There's so many rules in the dirt late model class just because of Bloomer.
Dude, all the rule book is wrote because of him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful.
It was different watching the racing at Volusia without him this year. I kind of missed just the bad boys in town. You know, even when he was older, he still had that presence about him.
He's something else. I'll tell you that. He is something else.
Take the right flying saucer.
Yes.
Just hard to believe he would web a glove like that. Logano.
That's what
I
I'm
can't
saying.
see that making that. I guess every little bit.
Hey, we want to put it in the driver's hands. That's what literally happened.
literally. I'm still not understanding how. I mean, obviously, there's people way smarter than me that's figured all this out, but they're not doing it in the corners. They're doing it down the straightaway, and basically, what I understand is they're trying to just block air from coming in the car.
Yeah,
just keeping it over the car. Is that what they're trying to do? Man, that's crazy. That if anybody don't know what. That's right, Lex and window net, Andy. Anyway, if anybody don't know what we're talking about, during qualifying, Joey Logano sit on front row again, second place, but had his time disallowed and had to start at the back and serve a pass-through penalty on the first lap of the race, which actually was a blessing in disguise probably for him. But what he had a normal glove, but he had somebody go in between each finger, and they stitched up more cloth to web it. I mean, it looked like a first baseman's glove over there. I mean, and when he was going down the straightaways, he literally would just hold his hand up beside on the window net, kind of pull in on it and hold it there at the same time. What they were saying was they would keep air outside the car going past the window net, I guess. That is looking for...
Yeah, every little bit.
I think that is 10,000ths of a second there. I mean, not even thousands. That is 10,000ths of a second there.
Someone was doing that at Daytona.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't remember who, but I think it was the Xfinity qualifying. It got him in the round of 10, but I forget who it was. It might have been Austin Hill. I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Well, no, they say that's fine. I mean, holding their hand up
just
there.
Can't have
they just
the
couldn't have the
like
webbing.
That.
They said it was SFI infraction because that material.
Modified it.
Oh, like, no, it's not. That's not a SFI. It's not a safety infraction. They're mad because you manipulated the air.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody even said that at Daytona, one of the crewmen, they didn't really name who, but one of the crewmen said, "Oh, he had it on at Daytona too." Just nobody saw it.
Yeah.
And all it was they saw it this week, and it was on camera because I was watching qualifying. He was on. And I just noticed glove going on. I didn't really pay attention that close, but somebody pointed it out. Yeah. And man, I don't know. I mean, I guess I look at our cars. I think that's our problem is I look at our cars and I'm like, yeah, we're looking for tints. I mean, that's what we're looking for. And we're looking for every bit of that in handling, not so much in aero. And these dudes are looking for thousandths of a second. I mean, because I don't see where you can get that much more off of it.
No. It can't be worth that much, but I guess it's worked somehow. They got them on the front row.
And there's so much less you can do now with the new car. I mean, you're all kind of put in the same box. So you got to do whatever you can.
Man, it's wild out there anymore. It's speaking of though, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Do we miss crew chiefs being able to do a little bit more to the cars?
Yeah.
You know, you don't see. They don't even have practice. I mean, so
I don't know why they don't have practice. I think the next gen being kind of put them in a box a little bit, just because they were hurting themselves by how much they were spending on everything, you know. But yeah, I don't get the no practice thing.
I mean, Kyle Busch's car, I think it was Sunday. Yeah, Kyle. Even though he was running up front, he said it just was not handling. They went under, I think, worked on the left front shock. I think did some adjusting on it. I mean, there's that not you. I think they got adjustable valves on their shocks. But that's how minute, you know. But that one little turn obviously greatly helped his car. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but are we missing the days of the Ray Evernhams, you know, messing with the body a little bit here and there and barely skirting by on the templates and...
Yeah, gone are the days of a Smokey Eunuch bringing a different size engine and not getting caught.
That's exactly right.
But I don't know. I mean, I like that it's close competition, and it's always good to have new owners like Trackhouse have success and have it early. 2311 coming into the sport. If it makes it to where more teams can be competitive, it's ultimately a good thing, right? I mean, you don't want to see the same three guys dominate. That's how it was for a lot of the races back in the day. It was Richard Petty or David Pearson or maybe an Allison or a Yarborough, and everybody else was pretty much an also-ran, you know?
That's right.
I don't know. There should be a balance, though. You don't want it to just be spec racing. That's not what NASCAR is all about. And that, you know, where's the fun in that?
See, I personally thought, you know, because what is this next gen is technically what, Gen 7 now, I think it is. Mm-hmm. I personally thought the Gen 6 was... It kind of had that balance for me. Yeah, there were certain little things.
It did. I think they started. The cost of those cars were going through the roof. I think
it was, but from what I'm gathering is these next gen, they're changing so many parts on them constantly, and they're not costing any less. Eventually they will. Maybe. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn on that because man, I'm sitting here. I look at my cars over here and, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, we can do this little bit here. We can do this little bit here. You know, I mean, I know you're the same way. I'm like, man, they're really stuck in a box.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I look back now and I was listening to something that Ray Evernham was doing, and they were talking about the T-Rex car that Jeff Gordon had at Charlotte, and they told him, no, do not ever bring that back. Yeah. And it was just, there was nothing outside the rules, technically, but it skirted the rules so much, like on every part of the car, that they were just like, no, we're not doing this. I miss the Smokey Eunuchs, you know, per se, and that philosophy of crew chiefing and building race cars. You know, you hear, you even listen to Dale Jr. and them on the download sometimes when he gets some of the old late model guys, and you know they talk about old drop snout cars and you know just different stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, and there's none of that anymore. It was really funny because you heard, you know, names like Banjo Matthews and stuff like that. Oh, I went and bought a car from him, and we put it together, and, you know, this car was raised this much on the right side, you know, just little stuff. They were trying, and there's nothing to try no more, I don't guess.
Well, a lot of them are talking about how they cheated them up years afterwards.
Oh, yes.
So they're not getting in trouble.
That is exactly.
You got to wait a while for those stories to come out.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you what, that doggone that laser scanner they got now, you can't get much past that thing.
Yeah, that would be hard. The template's a little easier to massage the sides of the car, maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, you knew where that template fell. All right, well, I can work here in between that. There's no in between anymore.
Do you think there's a lot more mechanical freedom in the short track racing world?
Yes. Yes, a ton. To an extent. We're taking some of it back. If you go late model stock, yes, there's a ton of you can kind of obviously right now the thing is have your car on the ground close as you can. They're not traveling very much. Pretty much you almost set it up like a go-kart. Just you figure out everything, and you see them cars sitting there and they don't move. Once they're out on the track, they just kind of are stuck there. But they're doing that on purpose, and there's still so much little stuff, with skews of the car being this way, that way. There's all kind of little stuff in the car, which I didn't know that much about. Our buddy Chad Webster showed me so much on, and because I didn't know, I came from go-karts, and go-karts, you kind of had a little bit of that stuff, but it wasn't very much. You kind of had a frame there, do a little bit with your front end on them, and that was about it. You kind of, then they came out later with adjustable rear bearings, so you could kind of move the axle a little bit, and that was really all you could do. But you could do it. And then I moved to the legend cars. That was the first thing I ran on asphalt ever. And I was like, well, we got springs, but we're still not that much different than a go-kart. If you really break it down and look at it, I mean, we still kind of can adjust very similarly. With the coilovers and everything, you kind of, as long as you get the right springs in it, your ride height's similar and right, and it kind of adjusts accordingly. As long as you have a car that responds, it's good. That's my thing about now with the cup cars. I hear these guys, and I've listened on the radio, I don't know how many times, is they're adjusting what they can adjust. Car's just not responding at all. It's like the same thing. So, what do you think? You think you got?
Yeah, I think they're doing more than we realize, though.
Oh, yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, yeah, I promise you, they're washering here and
they're still
shimming
here. The good teams and the all right teams. They're still the Hendricks and the people still find an extra.
That's right.
Extra little bit here and there.
That's right. But by like Skylar said, though, you think there's still a little more
probably
obviously freedom in the short track scene.
Yeah, I'd say so. But I think I don't know. I think it's different kinds of innovations.
There is. One thing I will say, and I don't, I'm not calling anybody out on this, but I do think the short track scene kind of opens up more people for, let's say, ingenuity. I'll just leave it at that. Ingenuity. Whether it be right, wrong, or indifferent. Just because we don't have we got tech, obviously, but it's just not, as sophisticated as others.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not putting your car in R&D jail at the end of the race.
Exactly. They're not.
It's Mike Cox being like, yep, oh, that's good.
Now, getting anything wrong past Mike Cox.
Now, that's the hard thing to do.
That's a hard thing to do. That is a hard thing to do. Which is good.
But I guess that's some of the draw to the late model stock car world, and the last couple of years, it's really car stores blown up. Even though it's just a small geographical area, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, it's really taken on a new personality with Dale and Jeff Burton and these new guys that are investing into it.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the interest is coming from people that are like, hey, we kind of like how the Cup Series may have been in the 90s or 80s running these short tracks, and you got these crew chiefs that can do things to their cars. I think that's why guys like Dale and hell, we had Kyle Larson at Caraway last year, and all these names want to run these things because it's old school. It's a throwback, and it's kind of how it used to be. And I think there's a draw to that, and there's a nostalgia with that.
There is, definitely is. And it's, you talk about that, in which I was glad to see this year. I know the NASCAR late model stock rule book now lines up with the Cars Tour rule book, which I didn't know it didn't for a long time. And and then who was it got caught? It was Rodney Childers.
Riggs and
Yeah. They got caught because they had the wrong size sway bar in it. Easy mistake if you're. You were at that race, wouldn't you?
yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
I was there too. Yeah.
Connor's like, nah, it wasn't a mistake. He knew what he was doing.
I felt bad for Lane too because he hadn't
Yeah.
won in a while, and it's never the driver's fault if something's legal.
Oh
in the car.
no.
And how often do they know?
Well, in the NASCAR world, I would say probably never.
Mm-hmm.
In the late model world, he probably knew.
You probably know. You think?
He probably knew.
Yeah.
He probably knew exactly what was in there.
Mhm.
And that's the difference, I think, that a lot of people for a long time had trouble with when the Jeff Gordons came along and stuff like that, is because the guys in the late model stuff, just like we do now, they got out and worked on the cars, and
Yeah.
they knew everything going on with the car. Well, like I said, like in the Jeff Gordon came along, he didn't know nothing about working on a car. He probably knew some things about the car, but now that is the norm, that these guys don't know anything about a car, really. Most of them don't. There's still some, and I will say Lane Riggs is probably one. I've seen him work on many late models. There's a lot of these guys that do know, and that's what really stinks is... This is so off track from where we've been, but that's what really stinks is you got the guys like the Lane Riggs who's finally getting a shot in the trucks.
Truck ride.
And which I'm glad to see. But there's so many more. And even Carson Quapple, I see he got the 88 ride at Martinsville, which is really cool because you're getting these, what I call check riders now that are getting all the rides out there. Doesn't matter how good you are. A lot of times, if you write this check, you can drive. So I'm glad to see Lane and Carson, because Carson knows a lot about that car. Actually, he don't say much, and he's kind of quiet and everything, but he actually knows a lot about that car. He's smart. Him and his brother both are smart when it comes to a race car. They know how to drive. So. Regardless, getting back to it, I think it's a good thing on the short track side anyway, the local track side. Still room to move in there. Probably the most restricted we got is probably like legend cars. They're pretty. What you want to do with them is pretty much go to the limit of the rules on everything, because they got a rule for pretty much everything on ride heights, on your lengths on both sides, everything. They got a rule for everything on that Legends car. But there's still people who know how to, okay, we can go here, but we can do this over here. And that's what you got to learn. That's where it's...
In Legends car, you want it to be a sort of a developmental series.
Yes,
so
you
you
do.
want to see who's the best driver. Maybe not who sets the car up the best. There's always an element to that.
Oh, yes.
But, if I'm watching a Legends car race, I want to see, who might be able to take that next step and have success in a bigger
You're right.
car or a bigger series. I think that's what it's all about. But
Connor's the hot ticket over here.
yeah,
I wish.
y'all put on a whale of a show at Florence, man, and Dylan. Like whenever I see you guys, you're showing up 25 cars deep and just slicing every single lap. Somebody's slicing them up, carving them up. It's a great show. Go to Florence this weekend. You might see some action.
yes, we will. So anyway, we'll finish the NASCAR side of things, I guess. Go back. There was truck race, like we said. Truck race actually seemed all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. What'd you think?
Can't the trucks and Xfinity both just can't. They're so dependent on side force. They can't run the inside like that.
No.
So it makes for a one line train around there.
Yeah. Man, I thought Jesse Love had the Xfinity race locked up. I really did.
Yeah, it was so dumb. I think I could have. That last caution, I felt like they were under caution for 7 laps.
Dude, that's why I was like,
I could
why
have
are they under
pushed the car off
caution?
myself at that point. They just had cars sitting around.
I was waiting for somebody to park it on the finish line.
We know a couple people that have done that.
Well, it was really funny. It was like within the same few weeks. It was just in like a few weeks of each other.
I had to ask when Mason and Diaz and Josh Williams were at the same track. I was like, so did Josh Williams pull a Mason Diaz? Like that's what it should be called, right?
Yeah.
And no disrespect to you, buddy. I want to play that concert. You guys got to get back to me. They're doing a speed week out there in Kenley.
Yeah.
And I talked to Michael a little bit. I know he's swamped, but I'd love to play that concert. We gotta finalize that thing
Next weekend. Not this coming weekend, but
next week. And Wednesday, Thursday. I love racing on weeknights because I play a lot of shows on weekends.
Yeah.
You know, some people work 9 to 5 and they only have weekends free. I'm like the opposite.
We're at 5 to 9.
Yeah,
Like,
we're 9 to 5 a.m.
exactly.
So yeah, I mean that's why I love speed weeks down in Florida. Tuesday night we're going racing,
That's right.
and I know that used to be more common, you know, in maybe in a different decade. But run weeknights, they're awesome. Glad the Diaz family's doing that.
Yes. That's a cool track up there too.
I actually haven't been. I've looked.
You never been there?
I need to get up there.
I love. I've only been there one time actually. It's a good little haul from here. I mean, but it's not terrible, obviously. But me and Sterling went one night, and I want to say the Cars Tour race was there. I think it was. That was back when they were running. It was late model stocks and it was super late models back then. It wasn't pro late models. They had super late models back in the day. But from turn 2 all the way around to turn 4, you can park up against the track. And they got these big old spots there. You got a sign, parking, you got numbers and everything. So we took his truck. He had a 3500 Chevrolet at the time, and we took the truck and put a little grill in the bed of the truck, had our chairs sitting in the bed of the truck. We sat there, grilled hamburgers, and watched racing all day. And it was, and you could see the whole track from where we were sitting because it's in they got so much banking at that shit that you sit and see it. So it's a really cool track. I just wish, and they're trying to figure it out. They're doing some stuff with some resin and all that stuff. I've always said that track would be really cool if they could get the top line working on it, but
I don't think he ever will.
I think it'd be tough. It's a
So much difference between.
Well, it's that and it's so sharp of a turn off.
Such a longer distance to go. Around the top.
You run that track?
I run it. I've been there
ran
once.
But man, I feel like it would just be cool to see them run up high on that banking there because it's a ton of banking, but everybody wants to get down on the apron.
Mm-hmm. That's how
flat.
Bristol used to be.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that'd be a cool race. So, anyway, to finish up the NASCAR side of things, Xfinity race, Austin Hill wins it on a fuel mileage deal. Really thought Jesse Love had it up until then. I don't know. I don't ever like fuel mileage races. I don't know. There's something about it to me. It's like, man, I just want to see the guy that's fastest win a race. I can appreciate strategy during a race. I just don't like it when everybody's that close on fuel and it ends up, do we have enough? I don't know. We'll see. Jesse said, "Oh yeah, I got enough." And then somebody was like, "How's he know? He's only raced 2 races in this."
He was confident.
He was very confident.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to get out of the lead. I don't really blame him. If I'm in the lead
Run
right
till you
there,
run out. Yeah.
well, if you come in, you've lost. Mm-hmm. You're not going to make it back up to the front if 15 cars stay out ahead of you and you got a green white checker. You're not making it back up to the front. So if I'm in this position, I'm like, yeah, I saved plenty. I ain't coming off the track. I don't care if this. I mean, that'd be the only way I'm coming off is if it runs out, which is what happened to him. KB won the truck race. Didn't look that great actually through most of the race, though. He kind of.
I think he muscled it out there.
Yeah, I think he did too. He knows how to drive that track. I tell you when the last time I went was when he was driving his own truck, and they went and take off and
lost a tire.
Lost 2 tires.
Yeah,
and both was the inside tires fell off.
I think
of
he
it.
had that one wrapped up.
Oh yeah, he had killed him that race. So I don't know. What'd you think about him?
I used to hate it when Kyle would come down and run the trucks because he'd win every time. Like, it would never be anyone else. Now it's just kind of cool to see how many wins this guy can have through all 3 series. I mean, at this point, I've eased my stance on Kyle Busch. I used to like him a lot less than I maybe do
Connor's
now.
man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
Oh yeah.
that makes sense.
What's crazy? He used to win with ease. It don't really happen anymore. You don't win every time we go to Xfinity now. There's a lot more.
No,
A
not
lot of
Xfinity,
times
for
people
sure.
will beat him up right.
Yeah.
Just how competitive the cars are.
Well,
he would run that 51 truck,
Oh yeah. He would
the
kill
Blue
us.
truck, and just blow everybody out of the water.
dude was insane. He was talking about the other day. He didn't even want to run that race. He had committed to 5 races for Spire, and he was already going. He was going to run next week, or he is going to run this coming week at Las Vegas, obviously, as he always does. But I forgot what happened. Anyway, I guess they already had all the other races filled up, and so the only way he would get 5 races in was if he ran that race. So he was like, what I heard was like that thing came together like Wednesday before going down there. They just had the truck sitting there and no wrap on it, and I guess they just threw a wrap on it and threw a seat in it and
Gotta win.
got a win.
And got practice at the track at least.
Got practice at the track. Somebody were picking around because it was one of those things that Spire wanted him to come back and run 5 races to kind of, since they bought KBM from him, they wanted him to come and run to kind of keep them where they needed to be and kind of know what they needed. And so apparently the truck's still fast.
Yeah.
So anyway, congratulations to all them and Daniel Suarez for winning the Cup race. That was a fun one. It was fun to watch. I still say that. I still say that.
Oh, yeah. And shout out Austin Hill. That guy can
Dude, that
wheel
dude.
on those drafting tracks.
He can. He knows how to somehow get it up front, right there at the end every time. He is. That is our buddy Kendall Sellers. That is his brother-in-law, AK Performance. There.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the A in AK.
Cool.
It was Austin and Kendall. So they started that together. So congratulations to him. Also, and I text him yesterday, day before, I can't remember. Our boy Honeycutt, Caden Honeycutt, finished 6th place in the truck race.
Cool.
Real good run in the niche truck. Tried to get him to come on here. He said, "Man, I'm testing all week." Because he's running the speed weeks
Yeah.
next week. So they're over at track testing tonight. I guess they rented the track to test.
Wow.
He's a great interview. He
is.
He really
He's
gets
good,
into it. He always takes the time to do it and gives you a lot. You know, some guys get a couple sentences.
Oh, yeah.
Caden's a great interview. He's going to be a great driver, and probably a lot of companies are going to want to attach their name to his.
I'm going to tell you what. I don't know. There's probably some people that follow him. But if you don't, I don't know what his schedule. That's what I want to talk to him about. This dude not only is a good wheelman of an asphalt car,
Yeah.
he can drive a dirt car too. He they just sold all their stuff, but he's running for Nice, and Nice has a late model, dirt late model program that they're doing. So I'm wondering if he's going to run some of their stuff. Because Carson Hocevar was in it some. Quite a few of those guys came through. Ross Chastain, I think, ran it some. So I'm wondering if Caden's going to go over there and run their super late model a little bit. So that'd be pretty cool because he's a wheelman in a dirt car. You know, I guess he's kind of taking the Kyle Larson path there. You know, and I've asked a lot of guys about that with running dirt and asphalt the way to do, and everybody tells me that I talk to that runs both is the dirt will really keep you sharp on your driving. So I think that's obviously where we're messing up, Connor. We're not running enough dirt.
Lakeview's just up the road, guys.
I know. I've thought about it. And what was bad is I really thought about it a couple years ago with that car. because they were running Legends kind of normally, at least a couple times or once a month or so, and they kind of quit, kind of around one time a year over there. I was like, man, Legends car be fun over there.
In Fayetteville.
I like Fayetteville, but man, last time I went there, I started 32 Legend cars.
Wow.
And about 8 of them finished. They tore up some Legend cars. But anyway, guys, real quick, want to thank all of our affiliates coming on here with us for sure. SRI Performance, they are your one-stop shop for all things racing, guys. Give them a call. I know everybody's season starting up just like ours is here coming up. So anything you need, racing-wise, safety-wise, I don't care what you need that goes on or in that race car, head over to SRI Performance, www.sriperformance.com. Put in our promo code after you fill that buggy up. Put in promo code CBONE, C as in
Chicken.
BONE 10. Get yourself 10% off there at time of checkout. Same deal over at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, guys. Get that car purdied up, all the structural steel you need on it. Anything to fit you car builders, anything you need from over there, guys. They got any specialty metals you need, any kind of materials you need, painted aluminum sheets for you dirt guys, everything. Head over to Stock Car Steel and Aluminum. Also, our good friends over at Profab Headers and Exhaust. Like I always say, and because it is their slogan, their quality that wins. Well, guess what they did this weekend, guys? They won with Daniel Suarez. 2 cup races this year, 2 wins for Profab Headers. I love it. So y'all head over to Profab Headers and Exhaust, guys, and they got pretty much any application you got. Anything from, like we talk about, late models, asphalt late models, dirt late models, dirt street stocks, asphalt street stocks, anything in between. Even that car right there, that Legend car sitting right there, has Profab headers on it. So actual full exhaust is Profab. So y'all head over to Profab Headers and Exhaust. Get everything you need from them guys. Earl Ramey Racing Engines. Y'all head over to Earl Ramey Racing Engines. Get any kind of horsepower needs you have. Head over there and Earl hook you up. I don't care. They have a awesome crate program, but also any other kind of program you got going on. Head over to Earl Ramey Racing Engines. They will hook you up. All right. Well, you mentioned it there a little while ago. We got some racing coming up this week back at Florence Motor Speedway. Season opener night.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited
too.
And Tour Modifieds.
Yes.
So badass. And a lot of the guys that I grew up watching, your Burt Myers is coming, some other guys from Bowman Gray Stadium, and they just are so cool. Saw a few of the races at New Smyrna. And shout out Landon Huffman.
Yep.
Trying out the modifieds. I know it didn't go smoothly.
He had a rough week
immediately, but you never get it right immediately. Like, that's very competitive. But yeah, that's by the grace of God, 600 horsepower.
That's right.
You can't beat an open wheel modified. And I'm excited for every other class that's going to run too. Thunder and Lightning, they're going to have some unified rules. Yep. Super Truck's going to have the same rules at Dillon that they will at Florence. So we're hoping for a better truck count with them this year. And that late model program is just so great at Florence too. I know they're not going to be, headlining this week.
Right.
But I'm just really looking forward to the season. I'm ready to get going.
Chargers will be there. Can we get some unified rules?
That's one.
Can we get some unified rules?
Nice for unified.
That is the one that's not unified.
Yeah, that's right.
I went there and begged Ron for it. No, but hey, that's track decision there. But yeah, like you said, man, it's gonna be a. I think originally Chargers were not on the schedule, and then went back and put them on. I don't think limited's. Will that be next time? That's the 16th. Okay. I'm trying to figure it all out. I need to print out a schedule and put it up here on the wall. Yeah. Last year it was kind of just, every class every week pretty much. So I need to print out a schedule for both, put them up on the wall here so we know exactly what's going on. But man, I saw Ryan Newman's gonna be driving for our buddy Joey Coulter in that 2 ride, which Ryan is always fast in anything he's got. Is
Bobby Labonte will be there.
That's what I was fixing to say. Is he going to be
I
back?
believe so.
Okay, cool. I was wondering if that team, because I know they were kind of teammates last year, but apparently they went back to one car again. I think
Maybe he won't then. But Ryan's running the full season, right? The full Smart Tour season.
He's running full season.
That's so cool.
Yes,
That's gonna be exciting to watch.
I'll have to get him on here. Joey's a good friend of mine, so we'll have to try to work that out, finagle him on there one day. That's a fun race to watch, though. I'm wondering what their tire rule is this time. Last year,
It was just the right rear last year, right?
it was one tire, which most of the time was the right rear, but it was one tire, which is just weird to me. I don't know. I guess it keeps costs down, but I know some of them guys, and I think it was a Hoosier deal again, unfortunately. It's just been an issue, the past few years. So maybe they've got it fixed now. But they wanted at least two, but they could only get one. So two made it easier. They could either put them on the back, put them on the right side, put them, something like that. But I saw a lot last year, when they were at Florence, I remember watching, and a lot of them guys, they would get their one tire put on their right rear, a lot of them, but they'd take the left front, air it up, move it. Well, a lot of them moving it to the right front, off the left front, because that tire was on the ground the least, pretty much. So, or some of them move them back just to get rear grip. Depends on how their car was handling, kind of where they moved them around, and that is strategy, and that's what that race last year was so crazy to me, because it was, you had these that were out front to begin with. All right, well, first caution come out. So many of them went into pits. Well, they raced for a while longer. Another caution come out. The other ones went into pits. It's like, all right, where's this going to shake out until everybody lands? So, and it's live pit stops, which is wild on that pit
Bonkers
road.
to me. That's bonkers. I think Bert got kind of pinned in a little bit the last year with this race, and some of those crew guys, they're just your unhired help.
Yes.
They're not getting a paycheck, so please don't run anybody over down there.
That is, you want to ride with us this week? Yeah, sure. Oh, you got to change tires. What?
Yeah. But I'll tell you, that big money Matt Hirschman, he's going to be the car to beat. He won the World Series of Asphalt and that 60 car, and it's cool because he runs the Northern Tour. But he works a lot with the PD Motorsports guys just down the road in Chirac. So it's always awesome when he can bring one of their cars to Florence or anywhere down south to racing.
That dude's insane in him.
Hard to whoop him, dude.
You can't beat him. Man, that's what's so cool about them cars, and I don't know. It's just they're on another level. It's like I don't know. And every time I watch them, I'm like, man, this is like late models mixed with Indy cars.
Yeah, not far off there.
Because they're so fast through the corners. I just feel like if I ever got in one, I know Landon Huffman, more power to him. I mean, he did good with, being his first real time in the car, and dealing with the motor issues that he had down at New Smyrna. But man, I know after getting out of a late model and getting in one of them, it's like, I am going way too fast through this corner. It's got to be crazy. But you, like you said, you grew up around them up there at Bowman Gray Stadium. That's a different world there, though.
All right, so folks, I hear your point when you say Bowman Gray Stadium is not real racing. I'll just give you that. I'll give you that right off the bat. It is mechanical gladiators out there, and it is a show. It is tempers flaring. It's emotional, and I don't think there's a short track in America that can duplicate it, replicate it. The Clash has tried to do that a couple of years, but Bowman Gray Stadium is the only of its kind, and they pack the place every week, and that's where I learned how to call someone number one. I learned what finger it was. Okay. If you want to find real racing, there's a bunch of short tracks up and down the the coast here on the East Coast and all over the country. You can find real, double file, good passing. Bowman Gray, you got to bump them. You got to grind. And it's a throwback to a different time. And, people want to talk junk about that place. And I understand it, man. I never had to put a race car back together. That's not what I have to do for a living. So I get that. But, yeah, the modifieds there really are, I think, the only class that doesn't kind of have some of the clown activities that you see that make their way online with the sportsmen and the mini stocks. It's racing gladiators. And the fact that you got the same kind of guys always winning there, your Burt Myers, your Tim Browns, it says something to how hard they're working. And
for sure. I mean, it's insane. I remember that's the crazy thing is, as involved in racing as I have always been myself to some extent or another. I'd heard Bowman Gray, was always, and I was like, cool, whatever, Then I remember that Madhouse show came on. And that was like, I waited every week to watch Madhouse. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, they followed around Burt Myers, Tim Brown, Jason Myers. It was, man, that's cool to watch. I liked it. But what I really like is regardless of what they're doing, whatever you want to call it, racing, a show, whatever you want to call it, I don't even care. They are packing the stands every week.
Absolutely.
I mean, big crowds. So, man, regardless, go watch these modifieds.
Yeah.
They kind of did the same thing at, what was it? The Bash at the Beach, I think they called it.
The one down in Daytona?
No. Or it was
the Carteret Clash.
Yeah, Clash at the Beach.
Yeah, they brought all the Bowman Gray guys after the season to run at Carteret.
Yeah, and they said that was a wild show.
Yeah.
So these modifieds, and I know, like you said, we're not at Bowman Gray, but they put on a show. They these guys, and I remember when I went down to Victory Lane and interviewed top 3. I think it was last year. I got maybe a couple more. These dudes are passionate about this. I mean, everybody at the track is, but this was like on another level. I was like, these dudes they're up here for some reason, and I mean, I liked it, but it's like they understand. This is what I always get on our guys around here about, and I tell them about it. I'm like, guys, y'all got to understand. You getting on, I don't care what podcast, what show, any bit of time you can get out there, get your name out there, get on a highlight somewhere, that puts your name out there. There's people watching that. There's people want to see that. There's sponsors that want to get behind that. So do whatever you can to get out there. And that's what they have figured out. And that's why there's so many people show up to that, because they have personalities. And they do. They have great personalities, and they will show you their personality. So come on out to Florence Motor Speedway this Saturday, guys. Looking like a fun race. I need to pull up the time. You don't happen to know the time, do you?
3 p.m. green flag.
3 p.m. green flag.
3
He's
p.m.
doing good. I'm glad somebody pays attention around here.
Well, I'm announcing all the races that aren't the Smart Tour there, so I want to be able to tell people when it is. I think Bob Dillner will be coming back with that whole crew.
Bob.
And, they're all great people. Jeff Bunton, who's running the, I believe, the timing and scoring and the head scorer there.
Yeah.
He's cool. He's also a wrestler. Did you know that?
No, I did not know
He
that.
goes by J.B. Cole.
Really?
I think he used to be the flagman for Bowman Gray Stadium, if I'm not mistaken. I could be.
Wow.
Don't believe he is anymore, but yeah, he former semi-professional wrestler and flagman and official.
I could see where wrestling and being a flagman at Bowman Gray could kind of come in handy.
Oh, yeah. It's a show, baby. It's a show.
I just think he needs to cut some promos in between classes. And
The Smart Tour does cut some funny videos.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some of the stuff they put out there. It's entertaining.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Everybody come on out to Florence Motor Speedway. We'll be out there. Connor gonna be racing something.
Yep.
He decided.
find out.
Yet. He ain't decided what he's racing yet. It might be a Charger car. It might be a Legend car. It might. Who knows?
Find out.
I'll be there in the Legend car. Unfortunately, we expected to have our motor back and had some setbacks on that. So unfortunately, that's not going to be out there this week. Hopefully by the next race, hopefully we'll be out there. But we will have the Legend car out there. As everybody can kind of see it back there in the background. I guess it's somewhat of the unveiling of it. I kind of put out there, just kind of getting everybody to guess what color. I wanted it to be something majorly different this year. And
the way so you can see that a little.
I say it's different. We went with the copper and is Bobby like a turquoise. It's a chrome turquoise. I call it the lucky penny. So
Hopefully it'll be lucky.
Hopefully it'll be lucky. We will see how we can. A few years ago, this race I ran really good and actually ran up front for a while somehow. Now competition all of a sudden went through the roof since then. So like you talked about earlier, it's nothing to see 25 of these Legend cars, at the racetrack now. A couple years ago, I remember it was, we might have 10, 12, something like that. Now all of a sudden it's like, boom, there's so many of them. So it's one of those kind of like, talk about like cup races. You can be off just a little bit and you're way back there. So it's a chore, especially on these, when we do these early races at Florence. It's a lot tougher for us. You got to be really on it because we get one round of practice. Then our second round of practice is also our qualifying. And so you pretty much got one shot to get it right. Makes for some fun days sometimes. So we'll see what we got. I think we coming with a decent piece this year. I think it we've worked a lot on it. Obviously, changed everything on. There's obviously 2 cars sitting here. We may even try to get this one, the white one, back up and going later in the year. Who knows?
Was it time to make our big sponsorship announcement here?
Well, that's what I was fixing to say, man. We'll throw this out here. I'll let you do it.
All right. Well, I've been following David's podcast for a couple years now and figured he's doing a really great job telling the story of what it's like behind the wheel at the PD racetracks at Florence and Dillon. So I had these stickers a little smaller. I wanted to blow them up a little bit, but show the camera there. That's got my website at the bottom, my music schedule for the year, and that's what I usually like to wear when I'm singing the national anthem is the 1985 Winston Racing Series jacket.
Love it.
So cool. I am now an official partner with David Rogers and Chicken Bone Alley, and we're going to be putting that on the Legends car.
Yes, we are.
And the late model when he gets that ready to go.
Yes, we are, for sure.
Figured I'd give y'all guys some free swag as well.
Awesome.
Got some koozies here with my website on it.
Appreciate it.
And
awesome.
I don't know if y'all still listen to CDs, but I sell some CDs at my shows, and that's what they look like right there. Got a little mason jar and a piston and a couple of my guitars, so give you guys some CDs.
Thank you so much.
Gotta get some more of these soon with the year coming around. And then I got some little stickers as well.
Awesome.
And this is kind of just a smaller version of the big one that you'll see in the window there. And that's my little logo shield right there. So
love it. Love it.
There's your stickers.
Thank you so much, man. We greatly appreciate you coming on with us this year.
Thank you, man.
And man, I when I messaged you and stuff, I was like, man, this could be something cool with all of us here. I thought about it even earlier. I was like, man, I want to kind of do a little segment every week on the show. We used to have Where's Waldo books. We'll have Where's Skylar books. So I want to kind of keep up, let everybody know where you kind of going to be. you know,
Yeah.
each week. And if you're gonna be at a track announcing, even we'll put it out there, man. So
Awesome.
man, I greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate you coming on here with us, regardless. And want to have you back as whenever you're available at any time, man. Even if you're not coming here, we got the Zoom here. We can get we can get on anytime.
Yeah.
So man, it is it's so cool. Let everybody know. I know you just threw it up there, but let everybody know where to find you at, where you gonna be, and all that good stuff.
So my entire schedule for the year, all the music shows and the national anthem performances are on my website. It's skyler.live, www.skyler, WHITFIELD.live. So skylerwhitfield.live. You can find all my dates. Do a little bit of Carolina travel and some Florida travel, but mostly the Grand Strand, Myrtle Beach area. So if you're down that way, play a ton of bars up and down there. I promise you, you won't be drinking alone if you come to one of my shows.
There you go, man. Awesome. So why are you talking about it? What's up next for you?
Be at OD Lounge Tuesday night, 7 to 11. Thursday and Friday, I'll be making my trip up to Rock Hill, Fort Mill, South Carolina, playing at Hobo's, both locations. If y'all are closer to Charlotte and you happen to be listening to this, we'll be there. And then it's Florence time. And then,
There we go.
yeah, we'll be rocking and rolling right there on the racetrack.
All right, when I get to come up there and sing the national anthem with you.
Well, Dowie Cox does it when I'm not there.
I know.
I almost want to call him Dewey Cox because he's got that low voice.
Walk hard.
Drive hard.
There you go.
Hard.
Oh, Carter, you've never seen that movie, have
No,
you?
I don't think I have.
Oh, you got to put that on your list, man.
Don't watch
You don't want none of this, Dewey. It's Cal Naughton Jr.'s character.
Yeah.
The guy that plays him plays Dewey Cox. You got to watch it.
It was basically a parody of Walk the Line, essentially, Johnny Cash movie.
Yeah, everything Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly does, I mean, since Ricky Bobby, is gold to me.
Yes.
Great movies.
I just think it's so funny because I see John C. Reilly and I just like, he was in Days of Thunder.
Yeah. He's a hell of an Irish singer, too. He sings like
Really? Didn't know
bar songs. I do some of that, too. I do a lot
Nice.
on St. Patty's weekend. I know a lot of those old traditional Celtic tunes that you
love
got to raise a beer to. So that's that. You didn't know anything about that before, now you did.
There you go. And there you go. Oh, cool, man. Cool. Want to thank real quick while we're on here our good friends over at Dixie Made. Dixie Made right here in Florence, South Carolina, guys. Guys, head over there. So many great brands that they have. Your Southern Fried Cottons, your Drake waterfowls, these guys like. Simply Southern that all the ladies like nowadays. Head over to Dixie Made and get all your clothing needs over there. I mean, anything from head to toe: hats, sunglasses, shirts, pants, shorts. Probably even got some flip flops and shoes over there. So head over to Dixie Made, guys. Also, Fresh Chef. If you're up in that Race City area towards Charlotte and Mooresville and all that area, head up to Fresh Chef, guys. That's some good food for sure. Everything they got, I just, it's so hard to pick one thing off that menu because man, it's all so good. Personally, I'm a good big shrimp and grits guy, and their shrimp and grits is amazing. So head up to Fresh Chef and get you some grub. Also, we're good friends at Rev Max Racing Apparel. Guys, girls out there, if you need a suit, you Carters out there, if you're racing go-karts, they got your single layer non-SFI suits. Also, us big car guys, they got our multi-layer SFI rated suits. So head over to Rev Max Racing Apparel and get hooked up with your suit today. All right. Also, our good friends at NPM, NPM Marketing. They're a partner somewhat of Florence Motor Speedway. Also, our good friend Tanya over there. She's on top of it, guys. If you are coming up in this world of racing, as we like to say, and you want to make it to the next level. It takes a lot of talent, but it also takes a great marketing crew behind you. And there's none better out there than MPM Marketing. So head over to marketwithmpm.com and get with Tanya, and she'll set you on the right path. All right. What else we got, guys? What else?
I don't know.
Anything else?
Yep.
Any final thoughts, fellas?
What you got going
Racing's ramping up.
on? What you got going on?
Soccer starts tomorrow for me.
Soccer.
First game of the season. Yep.
Where at?
It's at home.
home?
Yep.
Who y'all playing?
Kings Academy over
Oh,
across
right,
town.
Kings.
Yep. We play them twice this week.
The Crosstown Rivals.
Yeah, somewhat, I guess. But so excited to get that started, and that'll be going on here till about May, middle of May.
Sweet.
So hopefully,
What's your position?
I'll defensive mid, kind of the back line.
Water boy.
The last offense. Sometimes
I'm joking.
I was
Slide tackling
first
dudes.
couple years. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
try to. Yeah,
Just take them out.
gotta
at
be careful with
ankles.
that. Well, where I'm at, you don't want to do that because it'll get a penalty kick if you're too aggressive with it. But yeah, we
I'm terrible, Connor. I don't know anything about soccer. I'm sorry.
there's not a whole lot really. I mean,
Kick ball in net.
Exactly.
yeah, you can pick up most of it by watching it, So, yeah, hopefully, we'll be all right in that.
My mom signed me up for soccer when I was like 4 or 5. She tells me a story. I don't remember it. I made it to one game and I stood there. I was just like, nah, this ain't for me. So about a couple years later, I just started racing go-karts.
I love football. I played a little lacrosse too in high
Did
school.
you?
Played defense, but
Where'd you go to high school at?
Northwest Guilford in Greensboro,
Okay.
North Carolina. But by about the 10th grade, I just wanted to play music, man. I just wanted to play a guitar and find a stage somewhere. I did the marching band, played tuba till 9th grade, and then I wanted to meet girls. So I put the tuba down, picked up the guitar.
My son Landon, he played trumpet a little bit, and he will not. I try to get him to stick to something musically because he picked up trumpet. He didn't even sign up for band, and they put him in band, and he ended up being really good at it. So I'm like, why don't you just pick up something? I want to. He don't get around to it, And I'm like, if you can pick up trumpet, I mean, I don't know how hard trumpet is to play, but he was playing notes. I'm like, hey, you're dead on. So that's a talent there to me.
Yeah. Never hurts to have a hobby either. You don't have to make it your job.
That's right.
As hard as these guys work, though, I'm telling you, the Weekend Warriors are my favorite guys to watch, man. Y'all work 40-plus hours, more than 40 hours, and then come home and work some more. I'm super impressed by the guys that do that all the time, and thank you for keeping short track racing alive. Seriously.
Exactly. Everybody out there, he's not lying. My wife said our youngest son, he'll be the musician. He's autistic, but he has perfect pitch and can get on a piano and he play a song and he goes back and can just pick it up like that.
Awesome.
It's insane. I'm watching him. I'm like, you'll see me go up the piano. He'll hit the right key and he's like, okay. And
That's
play
cool.
it from there. I'm like, dude, it's insane. I wish I could do half of that.
I have to have a pitch pipe to do the anthem. Make sure I'm on the right key.
There you go. I will start way too high myself.
Low's okay. High's really in trouble.
Exactly. And that's where I get in trouble. And I'm like, ooh, that was too high.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, well, Skylar, man, I sure appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us today. Sure appreciate all your work with us this year. Man, it's gonna be so cool. But I appreciate you coming out and talking racing, man, and giving us another perspective. Like I said earlier, it helps. It helps because me and Connor sometimes I think we watch too much from the driver's seat, and we need other perspectives sometimes. So man, I really appreciate you coming all this way and hanging out with us today, and having fun, man.
Well, thank you all for having me. It was my pleasure. And like I said, I look forward to being a partner with you this year.
Yes,
and
sir.
let's get this little guy up front.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll put that one on the side, then put the other one on the nose.
There you go.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Well, we sure appreciate y'all watching today. Appreciate all of our sponsors and help on here. We couldn't do it without them. So, but anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all, and I guess we will see y'all next time.
Later.
That was fun, man.
All right, Facebook world. We're still live, so we'll tell all y'all bye.
Later.
Y'all have a good one. There's something I wanted to. Oh, there it is. All right. See y'all next time.